Baby boy. Tomorrow, we'll hopefully get our first glimpse of Meghan and baby and maybe find out the name.
Yeah, and everybody's trying to figure out where was this baby born. Now, Harry addressed the media yesterday at Windsor, which could support the theory that the baby was born at their Frogmore home.
2-day-old Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, named tonight with an announcement on Instagram and from Buckingham Palace. Earlier, sleeping through a history-making moment as this part American royal baby was introduced to the world.
For years, something about Meghan Markle's pregnancies just didn't sit right. The absence of hospital photos, the last-minute birth announcements, the way her baby bump seemed to shift from week to week, it all felt too perfect, too rehearsed, like a story crafted behind closed doors rather than lived in public. Now, a woman the world's never seen is stepping out of the shadows, and she says everything we've been told about Harry and Meghan's children is a lie. Not a rumor, not tabloid spin. She has names, dates, documents, NDAs, and she says she's not just a surrogate. She's the birth mother of Archie and Lilibet, and she's ready to prove it. Meanwhile, Buckingham Palace is bracing for impact, prepping hospital logs, thermal footage, even wristband scans, ready to crush this claim with surgical precision. But here's the question everyone's too scared to ask. What if the receipts don't match? What if DL's story is real? Because if it is, then Meghan didn't just play the part of a duchess, she played the role of a lifetime. And the royal family may have known it. This isn't just a scandal, it's a succession crisis, and it's unraveling in real time. A woman known only as DL has stepped forward, and what she's claiming isn't just shocking, it's seismic. According to her, she didn't donate an egg, she didn't act as a surrogate. She says she carried, delivered, and gave birth to both of Meghan and Harry's children, Archie and Lilibet, in total secrecy. No public role, no media fanfare, no acknowledgement, just silence and paperwork. And now, she's done staying quiet.
She has quite deliberately caused doubt, and she has created mischief, knowing that it would damage the royal family, which would show a level of spite and malice that is truly not only sick, but evil.
She says she was recruited through a private California agency, promised confidentiality, housed in a luxury villa, and stripped of contact with friends and family. All while Meghan appeared in public, rubbing a fake baby bump and rehearsing the performance of motherhood. DL claims her entire existence was reduced to one thing: deliver the heirs, then disappear. But she didn't just walk away, she walked away with proof. Medical records, ultrasounds, billing statements, even a signed NDA that explicitly forbids her from mentioning surrogacy by name under legal threat. And here's the kicker: she's not leaking this anonymously. She's appearing on camera, behind a mic, saying the words Meghan never expected to hear on record. I carried those babies. I gave birth to them. I will not stay invisible anymore.
But worse are the persistent rumours that she's not a mum and never has been. Just when the difficult Duchess wanted all the talk of her fake baby bumps to fade away, along came a so-called friend to turbocharge the conspiracy theories.
Just like that, everything the public thought they knew about the Sussex children is now up for debate. And the palace? Watching, waiting, preparing for a war they never wanted, but might have no choice but to fight. This isn't hearsay. This isn't a tabloid whisper passed around the internet. DL came with the kind of receipts that make even royal lawyers sweat. We're talking about full medical documentation, scans, doctor appointment schedules, hospital admission logs, and even delivery invoices tied to her name. And it doesn't stop there. She has pay stubs from a private nurse, invoices from a midwife who made house calls. She even has rental agreements for the LA villa she was placed in during the pregnancy, allegedly paid for by an unnamed royal-connected entity. And the most damning of all? A non-disclosure agreement that forbids her from using the words surrogacy, birth mother, or biological parent, an NDA so specific, it practically confirms the role it's trying to erase.
That belly looks very abnormal. That it looks very strange. If you look up close in the video, and I encourage people, look at this. It looks like there's like a bag or like some sort of something shoved up under a dress. It does not look like a pregnant belly. It looks all bumpy.
This wasn't some under-the-table arrangement. This was corporate-level secrecy backed by palace power. And now that DL is talking, she says the whole charade was pre-planned theater. Meghan practicing public appearances in front of a mirror, perfecting the angle of her bump, rehearsing how to touch it just right for the cameras. DL wasn't invited to see the babies. No closure, no thank you, just a clean break, like she never existed. But she did. And now, with every document she shows, she's forcing the world to ask the question that was unthinkable just days ago. What if Meghan never gave birth to Archie and Lilibet? Because if the answer is yes, the whole narrative collapses. Not just for Meghan, but for the monarchy. And the clock is ticking.
Call me old-fashioned, but I'm finding that quite uncomfortable.
It is
watch.
uncomfortable, but I don't think, because she's done this before for photos, I don't think that is a real baby bump. I think
way too big. It's way too big.
And sort of too low as well.
Yeah, it's like a meter out there. I mean, It looks...
The palace never wanted this fight. For years, they let the rumors simmer. Fake bump theories, hidden surrogates, conspiracy threads, it was all dismissed as noise. But not anymore, because DL's story hit a nerve they can't ignore. And now, Buckingham is gearing up for war. Behind closed doors, royal aides are assembling what one insider called the most ironclad dossier in modern monarchy history. Not fluff, not statements, proof. The kind that lands in courtrooms and shuts mouths. According to multiple leaks, Meghan's hospital room logs are already queued up. Documents showing she checked into the maternity ward under full royal security protocol. No aliases, no gaps, fully traceable. And it gets more surgical from there. They've got high-resolution photographs of Meghan inside the suite. Gown on, doctors in frame, OBGYNs accounted for by name and ID badge. Everything time-stamped, everything verified. Even the security cameras were rolling. Not just video. Thermal imaging confirming a live birth occurred in that exact room, on that exact day. They've saved it all. Wristbands, barcoded and scanned into the hospital system. Audio logs from nurses confirming the moment the infants were handed to royal caregivers at the door.
Now the trolls have gone into overdrive with their firm belief that non-mother Meg was never pregnant, and the childless Sussexes continue to subject the world to an extraordinary hoax.
This isn't spin. This is clinical, court-grade evidence designed to annihilate any claim that Meghan faked her pregnancies. And the strategy is surgical. No big press event. No dramatic reading, just one quiet, devastating upload to the royal website. Public, verifiable, and already shared with trusted outlets, waiting for the green light to blast it global. But here's the gamble. The moment it's live, every frame becomes fair game. Every document, every thermal scan, every hospital log, scrutinized, paused, blown up pixel by pixel by a public that now expects lies. The palace is betting everything on one move: kill the doubt, restore the crown's credibility, and bury DL's story before it combusts. But if even one document blurs under pressure, the backlash could be worse than the accusation. While the palace sharpens its blade, Montecito is unraveling. Meghan has gone silent. Not strategic silence, but panic silence. No Instagram updates, no charity appearances, no defiant statement. Her calendar has been scrubbed of anything remotely tied to motherhood or birth. There was supposed to be a weekend luncheon, something soft about postpartum wellness. It's vanished. In its place, a quiet self-care retreat, no press allowed, no cameras invited. The Sussex image machine has slammed the brakes. And Harry? Even worse, radio silent. No podcasts, no paparazzi shots, not even a casual walk with the dogs. One insider called it the most invisible he's been since the Oprah interview. Behind closed doors, it's chaos. Aides are running drills. PR advisors are cycling through talking points like it's a live fire simulation. One leaked call even had Meghan shouting, "You told me the womb was mine. You said I birthed our children." Harry, reportedly pacing, said to a friend over text, "We built everything on trust. What if they take that too?
It's very strange. It looks like what you'd get if you put like a pillowcase full of like socks or something under your dress. You gotta look up close. There's very strange bumps.
They're not just terrified of DL's claims, they're terrified of how close the palace is to dropping proof. Real proof. Hospital scans, wristbands, doctor's notes, evidence that could frame Meghan as a fraud in a matter of hours. And that's not the only fear. There are whispers that DL has even more. Surveillance footage, time-stamped pregnancy documents, receipts from the luxury villa she says she was held in. And worse, she's planning to leak them in a globally syndicated interview. Meghan's team is frantically preparing a response. Not legal, emotional. A raw, unscripted video where she looks straight into the lens and says, "I birthed your children. I love them. I'm not hiding anything." But her inner circle is split. Some say it'll humanize her. Others say it'll look like damage control. Too late, too polished, too desperate. Meanwhile, Harry is writing his own statement. Less about birth, more about belief. "I know my children," he reportedly says. "I believe in them. I believe in my wife." But even that's risky, because in court, belief isn't fact. And if you say you believe your wife birthed your kids, you're admitting there's room for doubt. They're boxed in. Silence looks guilty, denial looks fake, emotion looks manipulated. And every second they wait, DL's story grows teeth. Inside the walls of their Montecito compound, it's no longer about saving face. It's about surviving the fallout.
Wrong shape.
I mean, where's she going to give birth there? Through her knees or something? I mean, that is too low.
By the time the sun rose the next morning, the internet was already on fire. Hack fake bump, hashed DL truth, hashed DNA or lie. They weren't just trending, they were weaponized. Forums that once worshipped Meghan were now uploading side-by-side pregnancy breakdowns like it was a CSI investigation. One post labeled every public photo of Meghan with a bump: full, flat, folded, fabric wrinkle. Dozens of frames, all frozen and analyzed under digital microscopes. Then came the infographics, color-coded pregnancy timelines matched against DL's medical records. Morocco bump was 6 months, one caption read, but 2 weeks earlier she told reporters she was 5 months. Which is it? And then came the birth certificate conspiracy, that small forgotten edit where Meghan's name was changed from Rachel Meghan Markle to Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex, was suddenly being dragged back into the spotlight. Back then, it was brushed off as a formatting correction. Now, theories exploded. Why edit the mother's name at all? They asked. Was it to match legal guardianship, not biological maternity? Clips of the infamous bump fold footage from 2019 went viral all over again. The moment she sat down and the curve on her belly creased like fabric. Laughed at back then. Re-examined now. Every crease, every angle, suddenly evidence. The media didn't hold back. Even outlets that once took the Sussexes' side began hedging. Words like alleged, uncertain, and unconfirmed started peppering headlines that used to read like love letters. Tabloids posted timelines. YouTubers reenacted scenes. TikToks got millions of views comparing Meghan's bump to Hollywood pregnancy prosthetics. And through it all, silence from the Sussexes. That silence, once interpreted as dignity, was now being seen as panic. Social media polls showed the tide shifting. People weren't just curious, they were angry, betrayed, asking one question louder than all the others. Why haven't they denied it? Even former fans weren't buying it. If DL's lying, one post read, why not sue her? Why not shut her down in court?
Coming off of that pregnant belly, I don't know why, Stu, but for the first time ever, I'm kind of like, is this something we should be indulging? Because it doesn't look normal to me. The belly doesn't look normal, doesn't look like where a pregnant woman's belly is, and I don't understand what all those bumps on the belly are. I don't get it.
The longer the silence stretched, the deeper the cracks grew. DL was giving interviews, dropping receipts. The palace was getting ready to strike. And the Sussexes? They were being trialed by algorithm, buried in posts, hashtags, and conspiracy threads. And if they didn't answer soon, it wouldn't matter what the truth was, because the internet had already decided. This isn't just a tabloid scandal anymore. It's now sitting at the intersection of identity, inheritance, and constitutional law. Because if DL's claim is real, if Meghan didn't give birth to Archie and Lilibet, we're not just talking about deception. We're talking about the potential collapse of two royal titles. The monarchy's rules are clear. Title and succession depend on bloodline. Biological connection to the crown isn't just symbolic, it's written into law. So now the real panic begins. Behind the gates of Buckingham and inside Parliament offices, constitutional lawyers are huddling. Committees are reportedly being briefed on fallback options, emergency clauses, and worst-case scenarios. One such plan? Quietly keeping Archie and Lilibet's titles, but placing them under a bespoke succession clause, a legal gray area that would acknowledge they were born under different circumstances without stripping them entirely. Translation: a polite royal sidestep that keeps the machine running. But it wouldn't stop the damage. Because if the children aren't biologically linked to Harry, or worse, to Meghan, the entire royal line is now under a microscope. The public's trust in royal succession, something once taken for granted, is crumbling in real time. And the implications don't end with titles. DL's legal team has already filed for emergency injunctive relief, demanding official recognition as the children's biological mother. And if a court agrees, that opens the door to custody rights, financial claims, and, potentially, criminal allegations. Because if she's telling the truth, and if she was isolated, kept from seeing the children, and stripped of legal recognition, then we're not just talking about hidden surrogacy. We're talking about state-level child separation, kidnapping, identity fraud, medical cover-ups. This isn't royal drama anymore. It's a legal minefield. And every step the palace or the Sussexes take now is being measured for liability. And here's the wildest part. The monarchy may have known this day would come. Insiders say that for years they kept quiet not out of ignorance, but to avoid lighting the fuse. Now that DL has gone public, they're racing to contain the explosion, not just with documentation, but with constitutional band-aids that keep the throne intact. But if the documents fail, if DNA contradicts, or if even one witness falters, the entire line of succession could be thrown into question, and no royal brand survives that intact. So here we are, standing at the edge of something the royal family never prepared for. A woman says she carried the royal heirs. She says she was erased, hidden, silenced. And now, she's fighting back, with documents, interviews, and a truth no one wanted out. The palace says not so fast. They've got logs, wristbands, thermal footage. They're prepping their masterstroke, the digital dossier to bury DL's claim before it swallows the throne. And caught in the middle? Harry and Meghan, silent, isolated, cornered. They built their brand on vulnerability, on authenticity, on telling their story. But now, the story is being told for them, in court filings, in Reddit threads, in leaked memos and hospital timestamps. This isn't just about a birth. It's about a monarchy's legitimacy. It's about who gets to be royal and who decides what truth looks like. Because in the end, it all comes down to one impossible question. Does proof of birth define a legacy? Or does love define a family? That's what DL is challenging. That's what the palace is defending. And that's the line Harry and Meghan are walking, shaking, breathless, with the world watching. And with every hour that passes, the silence gets heavier. The documents get closer. And the truth? The truth is coming.